Imagine hearing that sentence and realizing there's a truth behind it so profound that humanity chose to forget it. But forgetting comes with a cost. Over a century ago, a mysterious woman, feared by authorities, condemned by religious leaders, and dismissed by scientists, dared to challenge everything we believe about reality. Her name, Helena Blavatsky. She didn't just bring esoteric teachings or philosophical ideas. She brought warnings, 5 spiritual warnings that, according to her, would define the fall of humanity into an age of spiritual blindness, material obsession, and disconnection from the soul. And here's the problem: we didn't listen. Why do you wake up and feel like something is wrong with the world, but can't explain it? Why do we feel so empty, even surrounded by technology, luxury, and information? Blavatsky saw it coming, and ignoring her words is sealing our fate. This video is a calling, a key to unlocking what was hidden. If you feel that you are here for something greater, like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who is beginning to awaken, because now you're about to discover, one by one, the 5 forgotten warnings of Helena Blavatsky, and why time is running out to heed them. What if everything you've been taught to value was just a shadow? According to Blavatsky, the greatest deception ever cast upon humanity is the belief that the material world is the only reality, that what we see, touch, and own defines who we are. But here's the truth she revealed: matter is nothing more than condensed spirit. In her teachings, the material world is not the source of life. It is the effect of a deeper, invisible force, consciousness. We are not physical beings seeking spiritual experiences. We are spiritual beings temporarily navigating a physical illusion. Yet, modern society worships the opposite. We define success by possessions. We measure life by productivity. We chase pleasure, comfort, status, all while feeling spiritually starved. Why? Because we've been taught to believe that this world is all there is, and that belief has turned into a prison. Blavatsky warned that the obsession with the material would lead humanity into spiritual amnesia, forgetting our divine origin, our soul's purpose, and the multidimensional nature of reality. Look around. Depression is rising. Anxiety is the new normal. People feel more disconnected than ever, not because they lack things, but because they lack meaning. Blavatsky's first warning wasn't just a philosophical idea, it was a map back to the truth. The material world is the classroom, not the goal. The body is the vehicle, not the identity. The soul is the source, and it's time to remember it. Want to go deeper? Drop a comment. I'm more than matter. And stay with me. The second warning will expose something even more dangerous. Blavatsky warned us, science that ignores spirit creates monsters of reason and disasters for the soul. In her time, and especially in ours, she saw what few dared to admit. Science, when disconnected from spiritual wisdom, becomes dangerous, not because of what it discovers, but because of what it chooses to ignore. Modern science has given us technology, medicine, and power over matter, but it also killed the mystery. It dismissed the invisible and silenced the soul. Today, many scientists treat consciousness as a glitch in the brain, a meaningless accident. They deny spirit. They ignore the unseen. They reduce human beings to chemical reactions, chasing survival. But what if that's the trap? Blavatsky warned that this kind of science would lead us to a world of high advancement, but spiritual bankruptcy. More knowledge, less wisdom. More control, less compassion. More data, less soul. That's why we have technologies that connect the globe, yet hearts growing apart. Physical cures, yet emotional suffering rising. Blavatsky believed that true evolution comes from the fusion of science and spirit. The mind must serve the soul, not the other way around. If we ignore this, we'll keep building a smarter world, but one that's emptier of meaning. Drop a comment. I want science with soul. And stay with me. The third warning hits the very core of our modern suffering. Blavatsky once said, Man's greatest enemy is not outside, it is within. That silent enemy has a name: ego. We live in a time where everything revolves around the I, my image, my success, my opinion, my pain. But the ego, this identity shaped by the mind, is not who you truly are. It is a mask, a defense mechanism, an illusion built from memories, fears, and comparison. And the more we feed it, the further we drift from the soul. Blavatsky warned, when the ego goes unchecked, it becomes an invisible prison, with bars made of pride, competition, vanity, and separation. Look at today's world. People fight not because of scarcity, but because of ego. They seek fame, not from purpose, but from fear of being unseen. They react to everything as an attack, because they confuse opinions with identity. But ego has one deep fear: being forgotten. That's why it keeps us busy with distractions, drama, and endless desires. It fears silence, because in silence, the soul speaks. Blavatsky taught that true awakening begins when we recognize the prison and choose to no longer identify with it. The soul is free. The ego is the illusion. To transcend ego is not to erase the self, but to rise above it. Drop a comment: I am soul, not ego. Because in the next warning, Blavatsky reveals how spiritual truth itself was corrupted by mankind. Religions were born from truth and died in their own lies. This may have been Blavatsky's boldest warning of all. She claimed that much of the world's original spiritual wisdom had been corrupted, distorted by institutions, manipulated by power, and used as a weapon of control, not liberation. Religions, once meant to be bridges between man and the divine, became walls of separation. Dogma replaced experience, fear replaced love, guilt silenced the soul's direct connection to the sacred. Blavatsky taught that many truths were intentionally hidden, sacred texts altered, ancient knowledge mocked, timeless symbols inverted and used against the people. Why? Because a truly awakened human cannot be controlled. So spiritual awakening was discredited, labeled heresy, madness, or superstition, while soulless spiritual elites locked away the truth. And the result? Millions follow systems that don't feed the soul. They live in fear of sin without ever understanding the soul's true purpose. To Blavatsky, this was urgent. We must reclaim a living spirituality, not one imposed from outside, but one that awakens from within. Drop a comment: I seek spiritual truth, not control. In the next and final warning, Blavatsky reveals what may be humanity's last chance. Humanity stands at a crossroads: evolve or disappear. This was Blavatsky's final and most urgent warning. She declared that humanity would enter a cycle where it would be forced to choose, either awaken or be consumed by its own unconsciousness. And that time, she said, is now. We live in a world on the edge of moral, ecological, and spiritual collapse. Meaningless wars, technology racing ahead of wisdom, a dying planet, and souls starving for purpose. Blavatsky saw this as a last call, a turning point where humans must remember who they truly are, that we are not just aging bodies, but eternal consciousness, that we came here with a mission, and it's not to consume, compete, or conform. That individual awakening is the only hope for collective transformation. She taught that every conscious spiritual choice, every soul that seeks truth, reconnects with the divine, breaks from the illusion, is a light pushing back the darkness. But time is short, and the window is closing. You can be another sleeping soul, or you can be part of humanity's rebirth. Drop a comment: I choose to awaken now, and stay for the final conclusion, with practical ways to live this knowledge and help rebuild what was once forgotten. You made it this far, and that was no accident. Blavatsky's 5 warnings are not just spiritual messages, they're mirrors of our current reality. They are deep invitations to break the collective trance and return to your soul. Let's remember, matter is an illusion. You are soul, not body. Soulless science is dangerous. Progress needs consciousness. The ego is a prison. Awakening requires humility and self-awareness. Spiritual truth was corrupted, but it can still be found within. This is humanity's last chance. The time to wake up is now. This is not theory, it's practice, it's life, it's a daily choice to awaken. If something inside you resonated with this, don't ignore it. Drop a comment, I'm ready to awaken. Share this video with someone who's ready to remember who they really are. Subscribe to the channel because each week we reveal more pieces of this great spiritual puzzle. And remember, awakening is not comfortable, but it's the only true freedom. Are you ready? Then awaken.